Hi, good morning. It's Sue from Snake River Stamping. Welcome to my craft room today. I'm really happy that you could be here with me. Adjust the camera just a little bit. There we go. I hope that you didn't miss my live yesterday that I recorded and it didn't record. But today I'm not going to redo the whole thing because I already made the cards, but I am going to share with you the cards I made. I'm going to share the dimensions and the products that I used. So if you're interested in it, that you might like to reproduce them. And the layouts that I use can be used with absolutely any DSP and ephemera that you might already have in your craft room. I hope you had a good weekend. I had a busy weekend. We went to basketball games for my oldest granddaughter. She plays varsity basketball, and it's so much fun to watch her play because we used to watch her mother and her sister play when they were in high school, and it brings back a lot of fond memories when we go to those games and watching all of our kids do sports. It's really great. Um, I live here in eastern Washington in a small town called Burbank, and we're just a little satellite community that's close to a larger community called the Tri-Cities. And you have to leave Burbank pretty much to go shopping or anything or get to the craft stores type of thing because we have a couple of gas stations and we have Dollar General. So, and Dollar General is useful for some craft stuff actually. Um, but anyway, I do have to go to town to get to the craft stores, or I order most of my stuff online. I'm going to switch the camera down to my desktop and share a few things with you today before I start the cards. So wish me luck that everything is going to do what it's supposed to do today. Yay, here we go. Okay. All right, our biggest sale of the year is called Celebration, and it started last Tuesday on January 7th, and there we go. It goes to February 28th, where you can get absolutely free stuff for ordering. Okay, for every $60 worth of product that you order out of the new catalog or the annual catalog, whatever catalog that you're ordering out of, they have lots of things available for free for just ordering. And I've ordered so far, I've got the fruit salad paper, which is really cute. And let's see what else did I get. I got the Starstruck embossing folder. And what else did I get? Oh, I did a class last week using Bloom Impressions, and in fact, that's the paper that I'm using for my free card kits for your order this month, which I'm going to explain my specials. I got the purple backed adhesive sequins. I have ordered the heart-shaped bundle right here, which makes some really cute Valentine's things, which I'll do. And let's see. And then, okay, that brings us to on page 16 in the celebration. And if you're one of my regular customers, I've already mailed these catalogs to you. If you're not one of my regular customers, you can go on my website on stampinup.com, which is linked below, and you can access all of these catalogs, all of the catalogs, all the publications we have, all the online specials, everything from that website, and look at them. But we are having a joining special, which does not mean you have to be a demonstrator and do what I do. It simply means you can be a discount shopper, which is the way I started. So for $99, you have two choices for this next month, I believe. For $99, you can choose $125 worth of product, all for free. You pay $99, but you get to choose that extra $26 in product for free. And you get 2 sets of Stampin' Right markers, and you get a free stamp set. And I believe that comes out to almost $200 worth of product for the $99. Or you can choose option 2. You can add an extra $30 in free product that you choose, which brings it up to $155 in product for your $99. So that's a pretty good deal too. Plus, once you join, you will automatically get a 20% discount. And then after a while, if you order enough, you move up to a 25% discount. So all of that is pretty good. If you're a regular crafter and you order things on a fairly regular basis, this is a really good deal. Really, really good. I joined in January, the year I joined, and got all the little freebies. And then after I joined, they offer you more free stuff, which is really great. So Celebration is for everybody that orders, okay? And like I said, it's our biggest sale of the year. Don't forget, you can also order last chance products, okay? And that is on my website. It's under the menu tab, and then go under specials, and you can get to last chance products, which a lot of things, these are things they're phasing out, but they still have them, and a lot of them are on sale. For instance, a couple of weeks ago, I did a card tutorial on blueberry bunches. I think I have that card. Yeah, right here. I did this card on blueberry bunches using this stamp set and using the Winter Meadow paper, which is useful for all year long. I use it all year long on my cards. Anyway, this stamp set's on sale right now for $9.20, which is a screaming deal. And so you'll find lots of things like that on sale in the last chance products. And then I talked to you about the joining special. There's also online exclusives, what's also under the menu tab. And those are things that they only sell online, and they don't put them in catalogs, but those stick around for quite a while, and they're always adding new things every single month to the online exclusives. And one of the online exclusives was the Utterly Adorable stamp set and paper and things, and I did a class a few weeks ago using the Utterly Adorable, and this just makes a lot of great things. It cuts out the little otters in the paper, or there's stamps and you can color and cut them if you want to. They just make really cute little cards like that. And that is in the online exclusives, and there's a lot of other stuff there. Okay, so I talked about the celebrations, and I would like to talk about the mini catalog that just came out and went live. This is the January through April 2025 mini catalog, and there's a whole bunch of new in this catalog. One of the things I want to point out is Storybook Friends. And this is a whole suite of products. You can order things separately. You can order the whole suite. I got the whole suite because I'm going to be doing some classes starting next week, next Monday, and using the Storybook Moments. And it includes 2 stamp sets. It has the stamp set with the garden things, you know, vegetables and gardening supplies. And then it has the storybook Friends with a whole bunch of different sizes of rabbits. One of my friends was looking for rabbits not too long ago, and I called her and I said, hey, now I've got the rabbits, the little bunnies, and I've got all the dies to cut them out, and it includes really pretty frames. And I'll be demonstrating this, and this has beautiful paper. It comes with 2 packages of paper. Like I said, you can order all this stuff separately, whatever you want, or you can order the whole thing. It has a bunch of plaids, which I love plaids, and it has then the Storybook Moments paper, which has the vegetables, the gardens, the bunnies, all the stuff. And it includes 2 sheets of die cut designs, and I'll share some of this stuff with you next week when I do the projects for that. And it goes on for a few pages, just giving you ideas about how to use the products. So that's in the new mini catalog, which I'll be sharing more later. Okay. Then the next thing I wanted to share with you is my ordering special for this month, for January. And for $40, if you order $40 worth of product in my store this month, and be sure to use, no, I forgot to change this. Be sure to use my host code. Excuse me, I was going to change this. I forgot to. Be sure to use my host code. This is my January host code for Snake River Stamping. KKREZ27N. All caps, except for, you know, the numbers, but all caps. So that's my host code. Okay. So for a $40 order, you get a card kit with 4 cards in it, 2 of each design. And I demonstrated these cards last week. So if you want to go to last Monday, which was the 6th, January 6th, I demonstrated how to make these cards. And I'm using the Bloom Impressions paper on these cards, and I will do all the cutting for you. Stampin' Up! Rules says I can cut for you, but I cannot stamp for you. So you have to have some ink and you have to have some stamps, okay, of your own. But I'll do all the cutting for all this various fancy stuff, and the instructions and everything are on that other video that you can look at and get an idea how to put these together. I'll do the embossing, but I'll do all this fancy cutting, including something on the inside. I'll include a sheet of paper to go on the inside, because these are all colored cardstocks that I use. So I'll cut a piece of paper to go on the inside. But again, you have to have your own stamps and ink to complete those. I'll include the envelopes also. So that is for the $40 order. I include the ribbon, I include the gems, everything, and I will mail that to you. And that's all completely free if you place a $40 order in my store this month. Okay, pretty good deal. So if you place a $50 order, you get the card kit, and you get some surprise gems, a brand new package of surprise gems. And I don't know what it's going to be, because I just have various packages of gems back in my box. And I'll throw in some gems for you, a whole complete new package of them. If you do a $60 order, you get all of the above, the card kits, the gems, and then you qualify for the free celebration item of your choosing that I just shared with you out of that book. You can choose any of those $60 threshold items. There are a couple that are $120 threshold, but there's only a couple of those. Most of them are $60 threshold. So you will also get to choose a celebration item. And you do your order, and at the end it says you qualify for a celebration item. Which one do you want? They show you little pictures, and you just click on the one you want. They add it to your cart, no charge, and you get it. If you happen to do a $120 order, you get all of the above again. You get the card kit with 4 cards, you get the gems, and now you either get 2 free celebration items at $60, or you qualify for the one of the couple of $120 thresholds, and those are a little more. It's like stamps and dies. You get that. If you happen to go to $150, then you get all of the above. And then you get Stampin' Rewards, because don't use my host code if you do $150 or more. Okay, don't use my host code, because you will automatically become the host and you will qualify for celebrations, which means they'll tell you how much dollar amount you will qualify for free. And you can pick that out of any of the catalogs. It doesn't have to be just out of the celebration catalog. You can pick that dollar amount and add that to your order for free. Okay, so those are all the thresholds of getting free stuff. You get a lot of free stuff this month, starting at $40 orders, $50 orders, $60 orders, 120 or 150. Okay, all of those things are for free. So that brings us to the cards that I made yesterday that I demonstrated, and I wanted to share you with you the paper, the package that I used to make these cards. This is called Frames and Flowers, and I only have a couple pieces of the DSP left, the whole pieces, because I've cut up a lot of it. There's this one, and it has that. I use a lot of that on the back. That's just a piece of white. There's that. That's the same one. That's the same one. Then, so you get all this DSP. I think there's 4 pieces altogether. Okay. And then what you get are all of these beautiful pop out ephemeras that they have. And they come in a sheet, and they just literally pop out with your fingers. It's like so easy. Some of them are frames like these, and then some of them have a white space where you can stamp on. Some of them are like wreaths, and then you have paper under it that you can stamp on. And some of them are corner frames like these that you can use. There's a lot of smaller things that you can use on the inside or the outside. I put it all in an envelope because I'm trying to wrangle them. Some of the frames are kind of an oval. And again, I have more round wreaths, some kind of horseshoey type shaped wreaths, more little leaves, various leaves, and you can see how easy these are to pop out. Some little flower sprigs. All these things come, and there's 2 pages of these that you pop out, and I mean it gives you so much ephemera that I've made these cards and a couple others, and I still have all of this ephemera left over that I can still make some more cards with. You can see that this package of paper is $10. That's all it is, $10 for all of this. Now I did have, because I have a craft stash, and mind you, I've been in the card making, doing this as a hobby, and then I started with Stampin' Up for almost 8 years now. So all the things I have purchased over an 8-year period, and I purchase a little bit each month is what I do. And sometimes I'm replacing things I use up, like cardstock, you know. And these are the 3 pieces that I use to make the cards I'm going to share with you today. I use some Calypso Coral, and I picked these colors because they match what's in the DSP, the Designer Series paper. I use Lost Lagoon, and I use some Basic White. Those are the only 3 that I used. Okay. So this is card number 1, and I have here we go. I have the directions right here, and you can take a screenshot of this if you would like, or if you would like to, I have my email below. It's sue.turner.snakeriverstamping, all one word, snakeriverstamping @gmail.com, but it is linked below. If you want to send me your email, I will send you for free. I'll send you all the copy of these measurements and things if you're interested of what I did. So this first card, I did the Calypso Coral card base. I started out with 8.5 by 5.5, and I just scored it at 4 1/4, which means I just scored it in half. And this makes an A2 size in the United States. This is an A2 card. Okay. Then I did some layers on it. And my layer number 1 was Calypso Coral, and it was just a little smaller. It's 5 1/4 by 4, and I embossed it with the Eyelet 3D embossing folder. Okay, looks like this. And bring it closer, you can see the embossing on that layer. And then it's a little bit smaller than the card base itself. Okay, so even though they're the same color, there is some differentiation between the 2. Then I cut a layer of Basic White, and it was 4 1/4 across by 3 1/2 inches. Then I cut a piece of DSP, and the DSP came out of the paper package. Okay, so I just cut this, and I cut this layer of DSP 3 3/4 by 3 1/4. And so then I took the 3 3/4, the long side, and I cut them in 1 1/4 strips. Just cut them in strips. And I turned the middle one over because on the other side of this is this pattern that matches with it. It has the Calypso Coral in it. And then I just attach them. And when I do strips like this, I put the outside strips on first, and then I put the inside strip on so I can kind of center it between my outside strips. And I'm trying to leave a little border between on the outside. I'm trying to make them all even, top and bottom, and then even in the middle with the white. Okay. Then I cut, and I think I used Unbounded Love, yeah. I used these 2 dies out of Unbounded Love, and they fit together because this one cuts out the inside and it cuts out a perimeter ring that you can use for something else. And then this one's just a little bit bigger. Okay, so I used this one to cut out the stitched outside, and I used this one with the lines on it to cut out the ends, and I used the inside of that to make my tag. And that, again, that was out of Unbounded Love, and that's linked below too. So I put that one on. all of the stamping I did, I used Lost Lagoon ink on all of my cards, I believe, today. And I linked that. So I picked You Make a Difference Every Day. And I linked, I think I linked the one I used for this one. I don't have it on my desk right now. Nope, I have it on my desk right now, but I found it, you can stamp whatever you want. Then I put a few gems on there, and then I used a piece of ephemera, and I popped this up on dimensionals, the ephemera. I put 3 dimensionals on it, 1 in the middle and 2 on each end, just to give it some lift. And that was one of the pieces that I popped out. Okay. Then on the inside, I usually cut a 5 by 3 3/4 piece for the inside, and I used another piece of ephemera. I decided not to stamp a greeting on the inside. I just taped down. Most of the time I used my Stampin' Seal to glue things down. But when I was gluing on the embossed layers, I do use my Tombow multi-purpose glue because it glues down a little bit better when you have an uneven surface that you get when you emboss, because it is uneven, and then the glue kind of gets in the dips and valleys better than the tape does. I mean, the tape will stick because Stampin' Seal Plus is very sticky, but I always like the glue because one of the advantages is I can slip it around too. If I don't make it perfectly even, I can kind of even it up for a minute before it dries. So that is card number 1, and those are the directions. Again, I would be glad to email these to you and in a document. If you would want to email me your email address and your name, I'll email these to you. Okay. So card number 2, on the bottom, I just flipped it over on the bottom. So my card base was Lost Lagoon, and this was a tent fold card, which means it was a full sheet of paper, and I cut it at 4 1/4 lengthwise, and it makes a tent fold card like that. Okay, and it looks the same. It's the same size as this other card. It's just a different fold, a different way to do it. And so all the sizes are very similar. So it's 4 1/2 by 11, which is the full sheet of paper that I shared with you a moment ago. I just took the Lost Lagoon. This is 11 inches long by 8.5 inches wide. So I cut it in half at 4 1/4 like that with my trimmer. So then I made some layers on this one too. So fold it 5 1/4, or excuse me, 5 1/2, folds it in half because that's half of 11. Then I put a Calypso coral layer, and that was 3 5/8 by 5. 3 5/8 by 5. And then I did another layer, and that was the DSP. This one, which was actually the same as this paper, but I flipped it over. It's the other side of this. Okay. So that was in the package too. So I put that behind there because I didn't want that to be too busy, because I was going to have a lot of busyness with these flowers. So I wanted it a little less busy on that. That's why I chose that. And then I did a basic white, and that was for the strip right here, because I have a strip underneath this DSP. My basic white was 3 1/2 by 1 7/8. And then I did a DSP just a little bit smaller, well, a little bit narrower. It was still 3 1/2 because it goes all the way to the edge, but it's only 1 1/2 inches tall this way. and I cut a strip of that. And I just glued all those down, or I taped them down flat. And then I took 3 or 4 pieces of ephemera from the frames and flowers, and I used some dimensionals on this. So again, I went back to my ephemera package, and I looked through it, and I actually did 1, 2, 3, 4 things on that, plus a little tag, using again this tag. Oops, no, this tag with the stitches on the edge, and I used that from Unbounded Love. Okay, so I made another out of white. So I glued down flat. I glued some leaves, and then I popped up some flowers that had some leaves sticking out. Then I put the tag down. Now, when I put the tag down, because this was popped up, I put glue on the left, on the back, and I put a dimensional on the right, so it would be even. Okay. Then I put a couple little flowers. They have a bunch of these little flowers in there. So I put a couple, I just glued down a couple of little flowers on that. And then on the inside, I put the 3 3/4 by 5, and I found a corner piece on the ephemera. Again, I didn't stamp, so I had room to write. I just put a corner piece and glued that down. I thought that looked pretty nice in there. So that was that one. Then card number 3, we're back to just a regular fold card. So this starts out, card number 3. I use Calypso Coral, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. My layer number 1 is also Calypso Coral, and you can see again the difference, because this is a little smaller and it's embossed, which makes it look, and you can use any embossing folder. I just consistently used that Starstruck, or excuse me, not Starstruck, 3D Eyelet embossing folder for that one. So my second layer of Calypso Coral was a little bit smaller. It was 4 by 5 1/4, so that I would have a border around here, and I embossed it. Now I'll tell you, when I do embossing like this, I usually cut the paper a little bigger. So I would probably cut it 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, emboss it, and then cut it down, because it will look better if you do it that way. Layer number 2 is some DSP. Again, I used the same DSP that looks like this on one side and this on the other side. Okay, and I decided again I wanted the more plain side to be underneath, because I was going to put quite a bit of stuff on top, and I thought it would be too busy to have that underneath it, so it would kind of get lost in it. So I wanted it to really be showcased and be a focal point, so I used this side of the DSP. So I cut one piece 2 by 5 inches, and then I cut that in half, so I'd have 2 1-inch strips. So the 2 inches, I cut it in half, 2 1-inch strips, and then I glued those down because it was on embossing. So I used the glue, and I left a little space in between them so you could tell there was they were separate. And then I found this piece that had white in the middle already, like the other piece I showed you a minute ago that had white in the middle, and you could stamp on that white, which is what I did. So I put this in my Misty, and I used the Lost Lagoon ink, and I did hello there, and I stamped that, and then I put it on dimensionals. Okay, so it is popped up, which you can kind of see a little bit, but you see it's a little bit popped up. And then this flower had some stems on it that I didn't really like, so I cut them off. And then I glued this down, these little leaves. I glued that down. I tried to be careful not to cover up my words. And then I put this on the very top, this ephemera, on the very top. And again, I used dimensionals to pop that up. And then on the inside, I just had an extra little piece of this when I cut these. And so I just took that strip and I glued it on the bottom, and I think I would probably stamp a little something maybe in the corner or something. I just didn't get around to that for my inside of this because I think it needs a little bit more something besides that strip. But the strip doesn't look bad. It's just, I think I would stamp either an image or something right in the corner. I don't like to stamp in the middle of cards, well, unless you don't like to write. I like to write. So I stamp my stuff or put my decoration at the bottom or at the bottom side or top side, so I have room to write. Now, if you don't like to write a lot, just put it in the middle. And then you just have to write, dear so-and-so, you know, best wishes, happy birthday, whatever, and sign your name. It's really easy. It depends on what you like to do. So that is card number 3. And remember, if you would like these directions, I will send them to you. Just email me your email address and I will do that. So the last card, card number 4, is this one. And I did another tent fold. So I had the other half of that Lost Lagoon sheet. So I used the other half. Okay. And so that was 4¼ by 11, scored at 5½ to make that tent fold. My first layer exactly fits on top of this. I didn't make it smaller. I wanted it to fit exactly because when I made it smaller, I used this frame that I already had punched out from my ephemera, it wasn't big enough. So I wanted it a little bit bigger because I used the Forever Plaid. Oops, that's upside down. The Forever Plaid embossing folder, which I just love because it's so versatile. It goes on anything, even, you know, it's really good for masculine cards because it's not flowery, you know, but it looks nice. So you know, this is a really useful embossing folder. I just love it. So my first layer is Lost Lagoon again. It's 4¼ by 5½, which fits exactly on the card. I embossed it with the Forever Plaid embossing folder. Then layer number 2 was basic white, 3¾ by 5, which fits exactly underneath this frame. This is 3¾ by 5. So I did that, and before I put the frame, I did a dry fit, which means I didn't use any glue, and just to make sure it fit. And then I put the white piece in my MISTI, and I used the So Sincere stamp set on this one, and I put Knowing You Brings Joy to My Heart. I love that one. I use it a lot. And so I stamped that in the middle, and then I glued this on. And then I popped the whole thing up on dimensionals. I put dimensionals on the 4 corners and in the middle. When I do a bigger piece, I usually put a dimensional in the middle so it doesn't sag. And then I just glued on some more ephemera. And I did this is one piece, these leafy pieces, and then I did 2 more little flowers. Like I said, they had several of these little flowers in there, so I did a couple little flowers, and I made this a happy birthday card. And I glued some more ephemera over here, happy birthday here, so I have plenty of room to write and sign my name down here. Okay. And so that's that card. So layer 3, the frame itself was also 3¾ by 5, like the white piece, and I added it on top. I glued it, and then I put those up on dimensionals. I added some ephemera that I liked. I mean, when you buy this paper for only $10, you get all this stuff. You can just punch out. I punched out all my ephemera, laid it all out, sorted it kind of into piles of wreaths and stems and flowers and things like that, and so I could kind of sort through it easily and find what I liked each time. And I did add shimmer spray. Like I put it on the first one, but I would put it on all because I love shimmer spray. I get this from Amazon, which is also linked below. It's by Imagine. It's called Sheer Shimmer Craft Spray Sparkle. And I love to do that on cards. And it's hard to see on the camera, but it does shimmer and sparkle and just gives it a really nice look to do that. So those are the 4 cards that I made yesterday. And I have the typed measurements. I have all the products linked below if you would like to order them. Don't forget my ordering specials that I talked about for $40, $50, $60, $120, and $150. You get the card kits, 2 of each, to make all this stuff. I do all the cutting and I mail it to you for free, okay, for any of these orders. And then for each threshold, you get a little bit extra, a little bit extra, a little bit extra. And then, of course, at $60, you start qualifying for celebrations, and you can pick stuff out of the celebrations catalog. And they show you, even if you don't have the catalog, they show you all the celebration stuff on your order with pictures. And you get to just click on it, and it adds it to your cart. It's really, really simple. So I hope that you will enjoy this Frames and Flowers paper, designer series paper. I think it's just like super pretty. And you just need a couple of other things. You need some stamps, you need some ink, you need some cardstock, and you're off to the races to make these beautiful cards. So thank you for joining me today. I sure hope this video worked because I pressed all the fancy buttons that I thought I could press, and hopefully this worked today. Thank you for joining me again, and I will see you next Monday. I'm trying to do my videos on Monday at 11, and if everything works, that's what I'm trying to do. So next Monday is January 20th, and I'm doing the storybook moments, one with the little bunnies and stuff. I'm doing part 1 on next Monday, and then the following Monday on the 27th, I'm doing part 2, because there's literally so many things you can do with that suite. It's going to take at least 2 weeks to share all the fun stuff with you for storybook moments, and I know you'll enjoy that, especially if you like bunnies and gardening. It's a great suite. So thank you for joining me today, and I hope to see you next